Herzlich willkommen hier in Genf am Place des Nations. Heute ist die Road to Geneva, die große Kundgebung, besser gesagt, hier in Genf gegen den WHO-Pakt, gegen die neuen Gesundheitsverträge der WHO. Es gibt Ansprachen von nationalen und internationalen Größen der Widerstandsbewegung. Ich versuche diese aufzuzeichnen, so gut wie es geht, wie die Batterien halten. Und wenn es dann noch reicht, gehen wir auch noch auf den Kundgebungsmarsch, der hier durch Genf gehen wird. Ab 15 Uhr. Und jetzt geht's los mit der Kundgebung hier im Hintergrund am Place des Nations.
Bonjour Genève! Bienvenue à tous pour cette manifestation internationale. Nous avons la grande chance d'accueillir non seulement des experts du monde entier, mais également les représentants d'associations suisses actives depuis 4 ans déjà.
Les discours que vous entendrez reflètent la vie personnelle de chaque orateur. Et peut-être que vous allez constater des divergences d'opinion. Mais c'est cela la vraie démocratie et la liberté d'expression.
Cette manifestation est organisée localement par Réinfo Santé Suisse Internationale et le mouvement fédératif roman en collaboration avec The Inspired Network et We Are 8 Billions et Free Humanity.
Merci d'avoir répondu si nombreux à notre appel. Et maintenant, nous allons vous passer la parole à Maître Philippe Kruse.
Hello everybody.
Alors, Maître Philippe Kruse, c'est l'avocat que tout le monde connaît en Suisse, mais à l'international aussi. C'est grâce à lui que nous sommes tous réunis aujourd'hui. Philippe,
Merci Michel.
C'est à toi.
Merci Delphine. Soyez les bienvenus. Ganz herzlich willkommen. You've been so welcome to come here. Thank you so much for coming. And it is a great honor that we can host you here. Es ist eine große Ehre. Das gesamte Event wurde hier sur place organisiert und vorbereitet vom Mouvement Fédératif Roman Michel Gaillet und auch von Réinfo Santé Suisse. Merci beaucoup. Wir danken auch ganz herzlich unserem Team International, das dafür gesorgt hat, dass wir nicht alleine hier auf der Bühne stehen müssen, sondern ganz viele Sprecher haben. Thank you so much to Dan from the UK, the greatest journalist from the UK. Dan. It was Dan to have the idea and even then to execute it and promote it to do the Road to Geneva project. Thank you, Dan. And now, the one and only who had this crazy idea. After the 1st October last year, she had done a great rally manifestation in Vienna. And then she said to me, Philip, let's do it again, here and now in Geneva. So, Maria Hubmer-Muck, welcome. And so herewith, I hand over the stage and the microphone to Maria and to Dan, and I hereby declare our celebration of independence as opened. Yay!
Well, welcome everyone. I just want to start by giving a shout out, please, to all of those freedom lovers who, over the last 2 days, have traveled across Europe and many continents to be here on the road to Geneva. Can we please give a huge shout out to the Road to Geneva convoy? The road to Geneva itself came with many challenges, many windy roads, many bumps. and things for us to navigate, missteps, wrong turns. But ultimately we got here, and we got here together. And there's nothing more powerful than people coming together like this from around the world to make a powerful statement. And isn't it powerful as well that we stand here with the United Nations office behind me in the very city that the WHO also resides? But it's also very powerful because Switzerland has its own origin story, and it's been a real pleasure to learn this through this process. And they had this formation event where there's this Rudely Oath, which was a declaration against tyranny, in defense of freedom and in defense of our own independence and our right to self-determination. And that is what we are here to do today, is to declare our freedom, our independence, and our right to self-determination. So it's a brilliant parallel.
Bonjour, guten Tag, hello to everybody. I am so glad that we are all here together today, and I just want to do some announcements for the day today so you know what is going on and how we will go on this stage. So most of the time we will speak English, and sometime we will even hear French, Italian and German speakers. And I'm very happy to be with my co-hosts here on stage. It is Michel Caillé and Delphine Derritier de Barros and Dan Aston Gregory. So we will introduce the speakers very briefly, and just so you know, you have all been to rallies and there have often been speeches for 10 or 15 minutes, which is great because we need information. But those of you who are here, you don't need too much information. You are the guys who will bring the motivation out in the world to inspire others to be with us. And that is why we will have very short speeches, so don't wonder. Our hosts here will introduce the next speaker, and then the short speech is given, and then we will say thank you for clapping. Dan is showing you when we ask you to shorten the clapping a little bit even. So please, we are sorry, but with the Genevan authorities, with the police, we really have to start the march at 5 p.m. punctually. So that is why we ask you, so we can progress in the program. We love our speakers, but sometimes we probably need to even shorten the clapping. Thank you for that. And then we have another disclaimer to make.
Yeah, so we have a disclaimer to make. We have many different voices and perspectives from around the world with us here today, and we honor and respect our right to speak freely. However, we may not all agree, and we're not here to agree. We're not here to get consensus. We're not here to have one mind. We're here to have a diverse set of perspectives. So the views of any individual speaker don't represent the views of organizations as a whole, or each of us here. They represent the views of the individual. So we respect that and we honor that, and we look forward to sharing the stage with many beautiful souls this afternoon.
Yeah. And we have somebody who is supporting us. It's a Swiss company. You probably heard about them, Swiss Cows. And they have a telecommunicating app. It's called TeleGuard. And those guys really protect our data. So if you want to connect with your friends around the world, you can download for free the TeleGuard app. Try it. I'm using it myself for the very important confidential information that I'm sharing with my friends around the world. And this is a good platform to connect with each other. So, and next, here my beautiful friends Susie Olsen-Corgan and Dr. Andrea Nazarenko from the United States of America.
We're here today to talk about taking control of our future. The idea and the concept that the men and women behind those walls will ever change their behavior to serve us is faulty at best. They will always act in self-interest and self-gain. But we are the 8 billion people of the world. When we unite, they lose their power. On this day, we rescind our consent for them to have any power over us. Yesterday, we brought in leaders, 100 different leaders in the freedom movement from all around the world. We teamed up with the Japanese rallies that are happening the same weekend. because we are all fighting the same battle. And simultaneously, it's time to transition our fight. It's time to start creating. We can create the future we want. Our children rely on us. The future generations deserve a better society, and the power is ours to create it. On this day, we accept the change belongs to us, and we will move together into the future with love, unity, and freedom.
The first speaker here from this international group of lawyers will be Dr. Renate Holzeisen from Italy. Thank you.
Hello to everyone from Italy, as that country with the worstest vaccination mandate in the last years. I have to say we have to stop immediately the European Union, as they already anticipated the implementation of One Health and Health in all policies. What they want is vaccination from the cradle to the grave. Noi abbiamo da fermare subito l'Unione Europea perché ha anticipato l'implementazione dei principi pericolosissimi One Health and Health in all policies. Vogliono per noi continue vaccinazioni dalla culla alla tomba, e questo non lo accettiamo.
Grazie Renate, grazie Renate. Qui maintenant de la France, Laetitia Rigaud aus Frankreich. Bitte.
Merci à tous d'être présents pour soutenir notre lutte contre ces traités qui nous imposent des mesures liberticides et qui portent atteinte à la souveraineté de nos États.
Merci Laetitia Rigaud de la France. And now Sue Gray from New Zealand. Bravo Sue Gray!
Hello everybody, thank you so much for coming and for inviting us all here. I'm a lawyer in New Zealand. I've been standing up for the people throughout the whole COVID mad response. And you know, we have the law on our side, it's just that they're not enforcing it. We have the science on our side, but they're lying about it. But most important, we have the people. The people power is what will change everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so great. Fantastic. And now from the Netherlands, Maaike Teroost.
Hi! Hi everybody, I'm Michael from the Netherlands. Well, in the Netherlands, during COVID-19, it was very bad. We probably had the longest lockdown and the most violent demonstration attacks. It was horrendous. But the people strike back, and the parliament has said no to the pandemic treaty and no to the international health regulations.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Now, from Germany, aus Deutschland, Dr. Bea Pfeil. Bitte schön.
Hallo, ihr alle. Wir werden es schaffen, diese unglaublichen Pläne der WHO zu stoppen, und zwar gemeinsam. Warum? Es geht um die Werte, die die Menschheit in Jahrhunderten erkämpft hat und erarbeitet hat. Es geht um die Freiheit. Es geht um die Menschenrechte. Und es geht um die Würde des Menschen, die immer unantastbar bleiben muss. Wir schaffen das gemeinsam.
Danke, Bea Pfeil. Danke. And now, she's a long way from the United States, Reggie Littlejohn. Welcome, Reggie.
I come from the United States to give you my love and my appreciation for all that you're doing and coming out here. I want to warn you about the digital IDs, which are being rolled out from the European Union and the WHO. They are mass surveillance and total control. You've got to resist. never give up, never give up, never give up.
Thank you so much. And now, my good friend from Israel, the lawyer, Alfred Schwarz. Thank you, Alfred.
Thank you for having all of us here. Keep up the good word and don't let politicians decide what to do with our health. Never, ever. Don't let them control our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfred Schwarz from Israel. Great. And now we have from Germany, de la Allemagne aus Deutschland, die Anwältin, die als allererste das Übel des Lockdowns mit einer Verfassungsgerichtsbeschwerde bekämpft hat, Beate Ballner.
Dear all, we will stop the abuse and violation of law by the WHO. Wir werden den Missbrauch und die Verletzung des Rechts durch die WHO stoppen. Nous allons arrêter l'abus et la violation de la loi par l'OMS. Fermeremo l'abuso e la violazione del diritto da parte dell'OMS. Grazie.
This is the team of lawyers who has done a press conference this morning to inform the world, to inform the media what is going on. Please watch it. It's on the homepage of Hoch 2 TV. And we are here to show you that the law is on your side. The lawyers are on your side, together with many other lawyers who couldn't be here today. And we will continue our work together until we are not anymore threatened, because die Menschenwürde ist unverzichtbar. Human dignity can never be disposed of, must always be respected, and all the power comes from the people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Grazie mille. Herzlichen Dank.
Bonjour à vous tous de Suisse et d'ailleurs. Et merci d'être là aujourd'hui avec nous. Vous qui depuis 4 ans, vous nous accompagnez dans nos actions. Vous qui avez parcouru les rues pour convaincre. Vous qui avez été discriminés. Vous qui n'avez jamais baissé les bras. C'est vous les héros. Et les héros ont aussi besoin de victoire. Mais le temps n'est pas encore venu. Certaines personnes qui disent être de notre côté doivent arrêter de semer la confusion quant à une prétendue victoire sur le traité pandémique de l'OMS. Les négociations sont toujours en cours. Et cela détourne notre attention de ce qui continue à arriver, les amendements du règlement sanitaire international et d'autres nombreux points encore. Nos propres pays sont en train d'élaborer des lois et des programmes de santé pour compléter ceux de l'OMS, voire faire mieux encore, comme c'est le cas en Suisse. De toute façon, vous savez très bien que cela n'a rien à voir avec la santé, mais avec la création de l'industrie de la pandémie, qui n'a pour but que d'enrichir toujours le grand géant qu'est Big Pharma. Et pendant que eux continuent de se remplir les poches, les perdants sont toujours les mêmes. Ce sont nous les peuples, des peuples empoisonnés par des prétendus produits thérapeutiques, par des injections expérimentales. Nous sommes privés de nos libertés par des mesures tyranniques et arbitraires, des mesures qui détruisent aussi nos petites et nos moyennes entreprises et nous dépouillent de notre indépendance financière. Rappelez-vous, cela n'est possible qu'avec la complicité de nos propres dirigeants, eux-mêmes censés représenter nos intérêts, les intérêts du peuple. Non seulement il faut sortir de l'OMS, mais de surcroît et surtout, il faut la démanteler. De la même façon qu'il faut démanteler toutes ces organisations globalistes qui siègent pour la plupart ici à Genève. Et ce sont par nos actions locales et par l'affirmation de notre souveraineté, d'abord personnelle et ensuite nationale, que nous pourrons nous extirper des tentacules de cette immense pieuvre. C'est à chacun de nous et à nous tous ensemble d'affirmer notre indépendance et de nous mobiliser pour la reconquérir. Merci. Alors j'ai encore une toute petite information pour les citoyens suisses. Le 9 juin, votation hyper importante, allez voter oui à l'initiative pour l'intégrité. Ça aussi, c'est combattre l'OMS. Voilà, alors je garde le micro parce que moi aussi j'ai quelqu'un à vous présenter. Quelqu'un qui est la présidente d'une ONG qui s'appelle Réinfo Santé Suisse Internationale, une organisation de médecins et de professionnels de la santé, très active depuis 4 ans. Delphine n'a jamais cessé depuis le début du Covid de se mobiliser pour une médecine éthique et les droits fondamentaux de la population. Je vous présente Madame Delphine Héritier de Barros. Bonjour. Si nous sommes réunis aujourd'hui, c'est pour dire non au projet machiavélique de l'OMS. Ça fait plusieurs années qu'on se positionne, qu'on réagit face à la mise en place d'une société qui va à l'encontre de nos valeurs. Il y a eu beaucoup de colère et elle a été nécessaire pour se mettre en mouvement. Aujourd'hui, je pense qu'il est temps d'en faire autre chose. Il faut bien sûr être ferme et poser ses limites. Les projets machiavéliques, c'est non. Il n'y a aucun compromis, aucune négociation, aucune figure de style, c'est non. Non à ces projets qui vont à l'encontre des droits fondamentaux humains et de la souveraineté des États, mais surtout qui vont à l'encontre de nos valeurs profondes et de notre souveraineté. Car derrière la colère, c'est de ça dont il s'agit réellement, notre souveraineté. Alors notre souveraineté, ça fait un moment qu'elle est négligée. Et les responsables, s'il faut en trouver, ce n'est pas l'État, ni les institutions, ni l'OMS, ni toute autre autorité dite supérieure. Non. Notre souveraineté, c'est nous, nous-mêmes, qui l'avons mise en péril. Nous avons délégué notre pouvoir à l'extérieur de nous. Nous l'avons confié aux politiques, aux médecins, aux institutions juridiques, éducatives. Nous avons élu des gens qui décident pour nous. Nous avons aussi délégué notre responsabilité aux autres vis-à-vis de nos émotions. Si nous sommes responsables d'avoir légué notre pouvoir, donné notre responsabilité à d'autres, nous sommes alors responsables de ce qui se passe désormais à l'OMS. Ils ont pris le lead, car en quelque sorte, on leur a laissé la possibilité de le faire. En croyant qu'un si petit groupe de gens décide pour tous, qu'ils nous obligent à suivre leurs règles, on nie le pouvoir de l'humanité, on se sous-estime et on se dénigre. Ces 4 dernières années, les pressions étaient fortes. Est-ce que vous êtes restés enfermés chez vous? Non! Est-ce que vous avez arrêté de vivre? Non! Personne n'arrête la liberté. La liberté, elle est en nous. Alors, reprenons conscience que la souveraineté, elle est là. Personne d'autre que nous n'a le pouvoir sur notre corps, sur notre santé et sur nos choix. La solution est en nous et non pas juste en essayant de faire tomber tel ou tel groupe de personnes. Car tant qu'on ne change pas notre perception en nous, le jeu se répétera et se répétera encore sans fin. Soyons un exemple. Donnons envie aux autres de reprendre leur pouvoir également. Avançons malgré les peurs et créons l'humanité dont nous rêvons.
Ils ont essayé de nous enfermer. Ils n'ont pas vu qu'ils nous donnaient des ailes. Merci.
Okay, our next three speakers on stage, we introduce them together. Dr. Kat Lindley, she is from Croatia but lives in the United States of America. She is a medical doctor and the president of Global Health Project and a senior fellow at the Frontline Critical Care Alliance, FLCCC. You heard about those folks? Pierre Corey, Paul Merrick, ivermectin, that's the guys. So here you go.
Voilà. Who would have imagined that we would find ourselves here in this moment in time? But as I have been reminded many times, perhaps we were all born for such a time as this. The supranational agencies that are claiming power over our lives only have it if we give it to them. So do not give it to them. We are the 8 billion and we are not afraid. I remember being on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in January of 22 and hearing the words from St. Augustine. Truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose, it will defend itself. So let it loose. And remember, we are the 8 billion. And now for my Croatian friends. Mi smo 8 milijardi I mi smo slobodni. Hvala vam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kat Lindley. So now we're delighted to be joined by Robin Cosford from all the way from Australia. He's a professional in nutritional and environmental medicine. She's chair of the Children's Health Defence in Australia and an ambassador for several prominent Australian medical organisations. Please welcome to the stage, Robin Cosford.
Hello, what an honour to be here, and I hope you can understand an accent from thousands of kilometres away. This is an amazing time that we are in, and we all have a role to play here. I come here representing much of Australia in my professional hat, medical professor, nutritional environmental medicine, ambassador for the organisation called Australian Medical Professional Society. The doctors who've been disenfranchised in Australia, you may well know, but we have lost many in Australia because of the system. I stand here as a mother. I'm a mother of 5. I'm chair of the Children's Health Defence Australia. We have a wonderful board in Australia. Mothers, you are important. Don't ever let it be said, don't ever let yourself think that perhaps because we can't get the same professional standing as men because we're looking after children, we can't earn the same. No, the mothers are needed. You are the ones who nurture the children, you are the ones who raise the children, you are the ones who bring the next generation. So, hands for all the mothers, we need them. And I stand here as ambassador for the newly formed Australian Aligned Council of Australia. This is a combined organisation of pretty much all our freedom movements, 1.3 million Australians being represented. That's 5% of our entire population officially affiliated with freedom groups. We might be a long way away, but we've been under a great deal of pressure. And historically, it's always been known that pressure is what brings out things. You press the olives to get olive oil. You press the grapes to get wine. When things are easy, we don't stand up. When things are easy, you don't see the true character. But when we're under pressure, that's when you see it. So we are in a fight. We have to stand. Don't let them push us over. We stand. Don't let them push us into fear. They can control us. We have to come from a different spirit, from love, joy, and peace. That's what we operate in.
Thank you. So our next speaker, welcome Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson from Canada. She's an outspoken independent journalist and author.
Hello everybody, I was part of the Freedom Convoy 2022. We will not bow. We will not bow. And I want to say hello to my fellow Canadian compatriots, Rebel News, Ezra Levant. Good to see you here. History. History has a way of repeating itself. And in the olden days, there were 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they were told to bow to the idol. Their idol was called who? Today, we have the same idol, WHO. They were told to bow to the idol or they would face the furnace. And they said, Your Majesty. They were so polite. Your Majesty, we do not have to answer to you, WHO. We do not have to answer to you, United Nations. But let it be known, even if we die, even if we face the furnace, we will not bow. And so, they decided to stand, and indeed they did face the furnace. And I tell you today, if history should repeat itself, and if we have to face the furnace, we go together. Because if you remember, when they went in the fire, it was the only time that they danced face to face with God. God is always in the fire with us. And if they tell us to comply, we will together say, we will not bow. And that is how we will see God come through for us in this time in history. God bless you. We love you from Canada. Thank you, Switzerland, for being there for us. God bless.
Thank you to Laura Lynn. So it's my honor now to introduce a fellow British activist who's been a medical doctor now for many years, an award-winning cardiologist and an international expert on the prevention of heart disease. He's been calling for greater transparency for many years now. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Asim Malhotra. Bonjour Genève! Bonjour Genève! Hello Geneva. We have a complete health care system failure and a pandemic of misinformed doctors and misinformed and unwittingly harmed patients. Why? Rooted in a biased funding of research. Research that's funded because it's likely to be profitable, not beneficial for patients. Biased reporting in medical journals. Biased reporting in the media. Commercial conflicts of interest. And last but not least, an inability of doctors to be able to comprehend and then communicate health statistics. Prior to the pandemic, the third most common cause of death, prescribed medications. What your doctor prescribes for you because of largely avoidable side effects. Not only did the World Health Organization do nothing about this, they made global health worse during the pandemic. They supported coercion and mandates of the most horrific pharmaceutical product in the history of medicine, responsible for serious harm and death to millions around the globe. And they have still not said sorry. The world deserves an apology from the World Health Organization. And why did they do this? Because for decades, increasingly, they have been a puppet for corporate, tyrannical psychopaths. The second largest funder of the World Health Organization, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates, who made $500 million investing in this horrific medical product, the COVID mRNA vaccine. But they can only succeed if we let them. And we are not going to let them. Rights are only won by those that make their voices heard. The most important radical thing we can do is a non-violent, just say no, do not comply. We are here to represent 8 billion people here today, and all of you are standing up with courage. So I thank you for your courage. Thank you, Dr. Asim Malhotra. Okay. We now have 2 more speakers from the United Kingdom, my dear friends Rob Verkerk and Mel Aldridge. Rob Verkerk is a multidisciplinary scientist and founder of the Alliance for Natural Health, an international non-profit that helps people to regenerate their health by reconnecting with nature. He'll be joined by Mel Aldridge, who also works with the Alliance for Natural Health. She's an integrative and regenerative scientist and founder alongside Rob. Takes heart-centered and nature-aligned approach to health and healing and respects individual sovereignty. So please give a warm round of applause to my dear friends Rob and Mel. Freedom-loving people, we stand together. Let's be reminded that 500 years ago, an Italian genius by the name of Leonardo da Vinci said, "Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence." 50 years ago, Indira Gandhi, the 3rd Prime Minister of India, talking at the United Nations to the Food and Agriculture Organization, said, "The power to question is the basis of all human progress." And much more recently, a guy I think many of you know called Elon Musk, as he was going through the buyout of Twitter to liberate it, he said, "Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy." So I want to add something to that. If we lose the ability to express ourselves, to share our ideas, our conscience, our thoughts with one another, we not only lose democracy, but we lose a sense of expression, a violation of an expression that for many of us for decades we thought was an unalienable right. Not only that, we lose one of the fundamental pillars of medical ethics, the freedom to choose and the freedom to experience and express informed consent. So while we stand here in the light, there are people close to us in the darkness who conspire and collude to try and remove these fundamental freedoms from us. And this is our opportunity to be heard, not just through our voices, but through our hearts and in the unity of our spirits. And they need to hear us now. Together we want to say a few words, and these are them. We will not be silenced. Thank you.
Bonjour, Genève, and welcome everybody who's watching from so far away. Are we free? Yeah! Are we sovereign? Yeah! So we will not be silenced, but now I want to speak to you of something that exists within the silence, something that transcends culture and race and geography and religion, something that unites all of us human beings together, and that is our inherent power to create, to manifest and to literally make worlds. It is the thing that they have most wanted to keep from us remembering. They do not want us to access our power. I think you'll agree that they've done a great job in using division and polarity to divide us, to disconnect us from each other and from nature. They've used fear, they've used anger, and they have enslaved this world for far too long. And we have found each other from all walks of life, from all parts of the world. We come together as change agents
as light workers, a crack master soul team to come to get rid of the chains that have enslaved this earth. Because the thing that they don't want us to remember is that we are creator beings. We have the ability within to make worlds, and this power exists within the silence. And so I ask all of you here and all of you who are watching to just close your eyes for a moment. With open hearts, with clear minds, let us envision a free world with no dark agendas, with no power control. Let our light and our love flow out into the world to send a message to all the dark places. Let our ripple become a tidal wave of love to bring peace to our world. For this is the power that each one of us holds. So please, keep your light shining and never ever forget the inherent power that each one of you holds, because together we've got this. And we're going to walk each other home.
Voilà, maintenant, j'ai l'honneur de vous présenter quelqu'un d'exceptionnel que tout le monde adore. Nous avons l'honneur de l'avoir en Suisse. Cette personne, c'est une experte dans le domaine de l'OMS. Nous avons d'ailleurs travaillé, elle et moi, ensemble pour les référendums contre les lois Covid chez les Amis de la Constitution. Elle a un CV long comme le bras, PhD, privadocent, lanceuse d'alerte quant à l'OMS, formatrice et consultante à l'OMS et à l'ONU pendant toute sa vie, on peut le dire. J'ai le plaisir d'appeler le docteur Astrid Stuckelberger.
À parler parce que vous me touchez le cœur. Alors merci beaucoup. Vraiment, merci à vous parce que vous êtes libérés. Merci à votre énergie. Merci à Dieu parce que franchement, c'est une guerre spirituelle. Je suis obligée de le dire tellement c'est grave ce qui se passe. Alors, j'ai que 5 minutes, donc j'ai choisi de faire en français, en anglais normalement pour qu'ils comprennent et de faire en français avec les télévisions suisses après. Mais peut-être je ferai du franglais. Mais je vais commencer. Okay, I have 3 minutes, so I'm very sorry. I will speak English as quickly as possible, and I will also make maybe a French section at the end with a conclusion. Welcome to Geneva. Welcome to Switzerland. You are in the international city who is a capital of the world with the most UN agency and specialized programs. You can see here the World Intellectual Property, the International Telecommunication who makes AI for good. WIPO is doing a treaty to patent all the life of the earth. They just signed a week ago. You have the World Trade Organization, the United Nations. I worked for 2 UN Open Days. So I can speak about WHO, ILO, because the mechanism of WHO and the United Nations is completely corrupted. And I don't recognize any mechanism, but what is happening today, and we did a declaration that people have forbid us to put here over there with Rainer Füllmich, and which are free Rainer Füllmich, not only Assange. So we have analyzed the texts with Virginie de Araujo-Recha, who cannot be there. I represent 16 lawyers in the world from South America, from South Africa, from the whole world. They could not be here. And we have made a declaration that you can find on the website Honest, on ICIC Law from Rainer Füllmich, and on IPSE. So you can go and see the banners. Everything is cropped in synthetic. So we did a declaration on 19th of May. It was on Radio 74 in French and English. And I will tell you the key points. It's 7 pages. It is legally argumented. And the first point,
there is a violation within the United Nations of its own instruments, of the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, all the covenants of ECOSOC, the WHO Constitution itself does not allow WHO to take power and have transfer of power. The WHO Constitution and the International Health Regulation proclaim sovereignty, human rights, and they're violating their own rights. And now they are violating our Constitution and our rights. So we have analyzed this point. The nations and the individuals are not represented at the United Nations. The transfer of power, we're not. That's an organization of victims where I'm a godmother of the victims of the vax. Great. Free Fulmich and Assange, but not only Assange. Is incompatible. Transfer of power and competence from a state or from individual is impossible. It is incompatible with our WHO, the Constitution, because we have never given our consent that WHO would take power. So within that, it is already falling against we should change our state constitution to allow what they're doing. You see what is a problem? And the last problem is that nobody's mentioning it here, and I wonder if there are not some people with conflicts of interest within our movement who are censoring Fulmich, who are censoring me to put my posters and not be part of some groups. So what I'm saying, there's a massive conflict of interest in the United Nations, contrary to member states' representativity of people. The UN and WHO are directed by interest, financial interest. They made loads of money for the last 3 years. You realize this? Yeah. So it is incompatible with our proper rights. And this is, if you take only that, everything that the UN, WHO are doing, signing, adopting, etc., is invalid because they are breaching the fundamental law that the state interest is not money. It is not the veau d'or. It is not, yeah. So, it's very important. So, yeah, okay. So, this was the key points, and the conclusion is that there are 3 conclusions, actually. Where are they? Yeah. So, this one is good. Thus, no international legal instrument can confer on the WHO Secretariat, including the WHO Director General, and I would say the whole United Nations Secretary, Director General, Security Council, the power to direct, order, alter, or otherwise prescribe domestic laws or policies of any party, or to mandate or otherwise impose any requirements that parties take specific actions, such as ban or accept travelers, impose vaccination mandates, or therapeutic or diagnostic measures that have never been validated, or implement a lockdown that is not in the International Health Regulation 2005. So you understand that? Yeah. So therefore, member states can no longer be bound to the WHO Constitution when private partners guide this institution and the UN, who has our president, that as it stands, any action adoption signed, undertaken through WHO or the UN on behalf of member states and their population, will be contrary to international law, will violate the sovereignty of member states and people's natural law. So we declare every document that comes out of this house or any other treaty like the WIPO null and void since at least 2019, if not very long time ago. Get back your sovereignty and refuse the private sector. Thank you very much,
Alors, je suis encore ravie de vous présenter encore un autre Suisse, Monsieur Josef Ender, qui est président de Ur-Kanton. Ein herzliches Dankeschön. Un grand merci à toi, Joseph, d'avoir mobilisé tes troupes pour venir aujourd'hui à Genève. Je te laisse la parole.
Keine fremden Vögte. Die Schweizerische Eidgenossenschaft hat ihren Ursprung in den Kantonen Uri, Schwyz und Unterwalden. Dort werden sich schon vor über 700 Jahren die einfachen Bauern gegen die Willkürherrschaft der Obrigkeit, gegen die fremden Vögte, damals waren es die Habsburger. Vor 4 Jahren herrschte wieder Willkürherrschaft in der Schweiz. Wie fast überall auf der Welt wurden Maßnahmen verhängt, auch in der Schweiz, und zwar ohne Evidenz. Damals wehrten sich viele Leute aus dem Volk und es trafen sich Vertreter aller 26 Kantone auf dem Rütli, der Wiege der Schweiz, und sie schworen der Eid der Eidgenossenschaft, wie vor über 700 Jahren. Wir wollen sein ein einzig Volk von Brüdern und Schwestern, in keiner Not uns trennen und Gefahr. Jetzt droht uns wieder eine neue Gesundheitsdiktatur. Die WHO will sich als Weltregierung installieren und weltweit willkürliche Maßnahmen verhängen können. Wir brauchen keine WHO, die von oben herab alles bestimmt. Alle Länder der Welt können sehr gut selber entscheiden, wenn wirklich wieder Maßnahmen notwendig werden. Schlussendlich soll jeder Mensch, jeder von euch selbstbestimmt und eigenverantwortlich entscheiden können über seine eigene Gesundheit. Wir brauchen keine fremden Vögte. Wir alle hier sagen Nein zur WHO. Und wir sagen alle Nein zu den neuen WHO-Verträgen. Keine neuen Vögte. Merci beaucoup.
Alors désormais, nous allons accueillir Urs Hans, qui est agriculteur, au regard acéré, tourné vers la science. Il a quitté ses montagnes pour être avec nous aujourd'hui. Willkommen Urs!
Merci beaucoup. Avant, je vais faire une annonce. Wir werden, en allemand, wir werden sammeln für die Unkosten für diesen Anlass, dass nicht Philipp Kruse am Schluss einen großen Schuldenberg hat. Leute werden jetzt ausströmen und ihr könnt etwas Geld reinwerfen in diese Behälter und das wird dann Philipp Kruse übergeben. Und jetzt beginne ich mit meiner Speech. Ich werde jetzt auf Englisch reden, weil ich dachte, wir haben ein weltweites Publikum. Okay, hello everybody. The history of modern medicine is based on fraud and one lie after the other. Middle of 18th century, they had already forced vaccination for smallpox. Jenner, Pasteur and Robert Koch started to make money with it. Thousands of children died through vaccination in Europe. 1885, about 100,000 people demonstrated in Leicester, England for a stop of the vaccine mandate. And they stopped the vaccine mandate and the children were in a good health again because they treated them well. Around 1910, Rockefeller started the capture of medicine with his oil-based products. During the First World War, there was not the Spanish flu, but the vaccination by Rockefeller that killed the people. That's the real, that's the cause. And so, okay. After the Second World War, with the foundation of WHO, Geneva became the center of the global pharmaceutical industry. As Gavi and Sevi also settled in this town, Switzerland became the heart of the evil in regarding of corruption by billionaires, scientific fraud and propaganda. 2005, bird flu. Roche made billions with Tamiflu, many people died of. 2008, blue tongue disease by cattle, vaccination, thousands of calves and cows died. 2009, swine flu vaccination. Some people died, lots of narcolepsy cases. 2010, Germany, 4,000 calves died through a vaccination called Breaksure by Pfizer vaccination. The calves bleeded over the whole body because of the milk intolerance, and that's what we see now with babies. 2019, corona pandemic, draconian measures, panic through media, forced vaccination, millions of injured people and dead people. Those responsible for WHO and Bill Gates and his colleagues belong behind the bars. Et à présent, en français, à bas OMS, à bas OMS, à bas OMS, à bas OMS. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody. I'm really nervous because I've never spoken in public before, so bear with me. First time.
Keep that going on a hum.
So this is my painting, The Last Supper, which I related to the sacred Seder of Jesus, so that you could make a contrast between the actions of these people in this painting and those of holy men. What do you think? Good or bad? I put an apple in front of each of them to suggest the possibility that they may be aware of the difference between good and evil, or sin, as it were. What do you think? So my painting is designed to make you think of things like sin, like corruption, like the loss of our basic human rights. Is that good or bad? So I'm hoping that this painting can get you thinking and motivated to do something to resolve the problems that the people in this painting and some of them behind us in that building are causing in the world today. Can we do that? Okay. So I think that art is really a powerful tool, so it can get information past the censors so that we can have our conversations. And it can slice through propaganda like a hot knife through butter. It can also unify us. We need unity so that we can overcome the divisiveness that is destroying our movement. So I hope that art can inspire and encourage all of you to get through dark times. And I'm recruiting the artists in each one of you to help me reimagine a future without those dark forces. Can we do that? Yes, thank you, please. So what I say is, let's find some paintbrushes and a good old-fashioned guitar, dream a little bit, and make the future that we, the 8 billion people on this planet, want for ourselves and our children. Thank you. I hope you enjoy my painting.
Thank you so much. We will put the painting, if it's possible, down to the stage and lean it to the stage. People can take pictures with the painting later. Thank you so much for your message. So our next speaker is somebody you have heard of if you have followed over the last year what has been going on in this world. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce my friend, pathologist from the United States of America, from Idaho, came all the way here from his organic farm, here with his beautiful wife Kelly. Say hi to the wonderful Dr. Ryan Cole.
Bonjour. Hello to all you beautiful people, people with heart and people with spirit. It's great to see so many faces from so many countries. Thank you to the police. Thank you to Geneva. Thank you to those who stand for freedom around the world. We wish we were all together and had you all here with us. You know, what we're looking at is we're living in an era of wealth and hellness, and we need to change that to an era of health and wellness. We've seen petty bureaucrats try to conquer the world through bureaucratic administrative fiat. A coup of words, a coup of definitions. But that's not who we are. We are free citizens of the world. We've lived through censorship. We've seen a world experimented on by individuals that would make Mengele blush. We don't believe in communism. We don't believe in public-private partnership, otherwise known as fascism. What we believe in is freedom. We are free citizens of the world with voices that matter and lives that matter. None of us is a statistic. None of us is a number. Each one of you, each one of us is a soul with purpose on this planet. And we are here with a small victory this week over the petty bureaucrats. But their game isn't over. And so what we must do is always remain vigilant. Stay awake. Don't be numbed by comfort. Don't be numbed by safety. Life is discomfort. And fighting for our rights is sometimes uncomfortable. But we have the heart and the spirit to never quit. There is no such thing as the science. No such thing. Science is a process. Science is an action. Science evolves. Otherwise, we'd all be like Galileo stuck in a tower, being told we're wrong. We're not. We're not. We are here for humanity. In the words of one of my favorite patriots, give me liberty or give me death. Liberté, égalité, fraternité. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
As always, very motivating, very empowering. So next, I'm here to introduce two Frenchmen. They came all the way. It's Mr. Poisson and Mr. Philippon, and they both have strong messages for you as well. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm going to address to you a few words in English, but since I'm French, I will have to speak in French. I would like, first of all, to salute and thank you all to be here this afternoon and say to the world, we do not want the WHO to rule our lives and our health. We refuse this policy, and above all, neither lies, neither slavery will ever pass through us. This is our message today. In French now. Mes chers compatriotes, malheureusement la France n'est pas très mobilisée contre ce traité, à la différence de beaucoup de pays et de peuples du monde. Malheureusement, je souhaite que les Français prennent conscience de ce qui est en train de leur arriver, et j'ai l'ambition, en France, comme l'a fait notre ami Nigel Farage en Angleterre, de lancer une campagne pour que la France quitte l'Organisation mondiale de la santé. Bonne manifestation à tous, à bientôt.
Bonjour à tous. Bravo pour cette mobilisation, bravo aux organisateurs et merci de nous avoir invités et donné la parole. Nous avons vu pendant le Covid à quel point la corruption dominait. La corruption avait remplacé la santé. Nous devons refuser de toutes nos forces que Big Pharma prenne le pouvoir avec le traité pandémie de l'OMS. Nous devons, tous les peuples du monde, nous battre main dans la main contre ceux qui veulent remplacer la santé par Big Pharma, remplacer la santé par les grands labos, nous injecter de force des produits que nous n'avons pas choisis. Nous devons, de toutes nos forces, protéger nos enfants de la mainmise, de l'argent, du fric et de Big Pharma. Et oui, j'approuve ce qui vient d'être dit par Jean-Frédéric Poisson. Nous sommes les fers de lance d'une grande campagne pour que la France sorte de l'OMS. Les peuples doivent choisir leur avenir, les peuples doivent être souverains, les peuples doivent quitter toutes les organisations supranationales. Nous devons remettre la santé, la liberté et la vie au-dessus de tout. Merci beaucoup.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, everyone. This is a truly international event. It's my pleasure to introduce John Cage to the stage, a freedom fighter from Brazil, no less. He's organized countless congressional hearings, he's rallied peoples on the street, and he's been an enormous support to this event. He's helped us with videos and posters, he's promoted this everywhere. We've got people here from all over Europe, but this guy's been promoting it everywhere. So it's a real pleasure to introduce John Cage, all the way from Brazil.
Bonjour, Genève! Okay, before we send a message to the WHO, I want to congratulate all the organization here. And I got to thank all the Congress system from Brazil, because as you know, Brazil is the only one country in the world who's obligating 6-month babies to under 5 years old to inoculate this experimental genetic therapy. Gets better, gets worse. You know, the mothers from Brazil are under coercion from public ministry and tutelar counselor. So they send notification for the parents for they inject 3 doses of COVID experimental genetic therapy. Otherwise, they're gonna charge the parents with 2 to 20 basic salary. So if they still pay this charge, they're gonna ask for obligated them. Otherwise, they're gonna open a prosecutor for separate the parents from their children. How about that? Okay. I want to invite the Brazilian poor communities leaders from favelas for join us and save their children, all right? Okay, and let's send a message to WHO. So, repeat it after me. Okay, we all know they committed crimes against humanity. Crimes against humanity. Okay, no WHO! Louder! No WHO! Last one. No WHO! Freedom! Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great energy as well, everyone. Thank you so much. So our next guest is Alan Miller from the United Kingdom, who's co-founder of the Together Association, which I had the privilege of also being a co-founder of in its earliest stage. Together campaigns and lobbies for civil liberties all across the UK, and Together was instrumental in stopping vaccine mandates in the United Kingdom and vaccine passports, and they've gone on to affect many other policy changes. So it's my pleasure to introduce Alan Miller to the stage.
Thank you, Dan. Well, Free Humanity and Dan Aston-Gregory and the whole team. Let's hear it for them. Woo! This is very fantastic. Everyone that's watching in the UK, this is what international solidarity looks like. Independent, sovereign citizens and independent sovereign nation states making decisions to come together and collaborate, but to retain their freedom, their liberties, their rights, their privacy together. And thank you, and that's why we called the Together Association and the togetherdeclaration.org. It's essential that we all stand together. Now, whilst the WHO are trying to implement the international health regulations and the amendments about surveillance, impositions, restrictions and knee-jerk suffocation to all of us, not just around so-called pandemics, but also, of course, around the latest thing, the environment emergency, keeping us safe. Ooh, that is terrifying. What we need to do is assert our liberty, our fraternity, our independence together. And that's why it's essential that whilst we do this, we then go back and we make sure our elected representatives hear from us. We stand independently. We say that we're not going to have these impositions from abroad. We're going to insist that our public keeps our elected representatives accountable, that we're going to make sure that we say we want our freedoms, we're going to insist on it together. And we're going to take back democracy. What are we going to do, everyone? Thank you very much. There's Free Humanity. Let's do it together in solidarity.
For Mr. Tedros, because I'm not an anti-vaxxer, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor who didn't forget the Hippocratic Oath. First of all, do no harm. So I think that's important to stress that the doctors among us who did this and have been fighting for this for ages now, I mean, we literally didn't forget the Hippocratic Oath. And when I meet colleagues who talk about the vaccine without looking into the side effects, I'm very worried. I'm very worried these days about the excess mortality. I'm very worried about the falling birth rates. And I'm very worried about our own studying, now replicated on Swedish data. And I'm very worried that they won't give us the data. So my message is very clear. We need to look into data, we need to have access to data, and we need to look and support independent scientists, which I am one among. So, first of all, thank you. I think it's time that we demand and take our power back. I loved hearing you yelling liberty, liberty, and if I could use my last seconds on that, let's do that. So let's say 1, 2, 3, liberty, 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 liberty. Thank you very much.
So, and our next speaker, many of you know her. She is from Germany, but she lives and works in London, UK. Dr. Margareta Gries-Brison, a neurologist who spoke up very early, especially for the kids. I saw her first when she warned about the masks that they put in our kids' faces. Thank you so much, Margareta, for your work and for your bravery.
Hello, friends, for freedom and peace. I would like, in the name of the people, to convey a message to the WHO. Our health and our bodies are our main, private, intimate treasure that we have, and we alone have the responsibility and the power of making decision over it. A disease is not managed, not marketed, advertised or publicized. A disease is treated by the physician of our choice with our agreement and our consent. The further we are away from a problem, the more blurred our vision gets. But to solve a problem, we need sharp 2020 vision. This means to be there, to be present, to be local. So I ask myself, what authority does the WHO, which is a global, far-away, detached organization of lay people, what control do they have over our health? What we learned in the last 4 years is that we have no protection, not from our doctors, not from our not from our preachers, not from our teachers. So what we have to do, we have to take the responsibility in our own hands. Okay, all right. And I would like to say, please God help us. We need your blessing for humanity and your miraculous creation. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is from the Philippines, Marivic Villa, who's going to be speaking to us today alongside Ernesto Roberto. Please welcome our latest speakers to the stage. Thank you so much.
Hello! Hello, Geneva! Do you know that it's easier for me to save lives than to talk to you? I represent Asia, I represent Florida, I represent all of you, and I represent World Council for Health. Yay! I am a practicing pulmonologist internist in Florida, and right now I have more than 3,000 vaccine-injured seniors under my care. And this is the product or the result of what they have done. We cannot allow this to happen again. This population, they promised that they were going to protect, but they are the first one to get damaged and get injured. Okay? This WHO is so corrupt and so whatever they are, they're so misaligned. They said that they know what we deserve. No, it's not about what we deserve. It's about what we believe. It's about what we have in here. We have the choice. You have to choose freedom. You have to choose love. That is, we are, and one good news, under the auspices and under the leadership of World Council for Health, that's Lori, we are launching a worldwide detox program, which is going to start next month. I'd like to. Okay, it's time for me to stop talking. Okay, I would like to tell the who. We are the people. We are the power. We are many, and we are taking our freedom. We are taking it divinely, and we're gonna keep it forever. Freedom! Freedom! Freedom!
Okay, Ernesto, welcome to the stage. We're looking forward to hearing from this man.
Hello, first of all, I want to thank our good Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for all my warriors out here. I'm fighting for my son, Ernesto Ramirez Jr. We need justice. They're killing our people. I'm also fighting for my dear friend's son, Victor, Sean in Canada, Trista in the U.S. They're killing our people. We need to stop that. This is our world. The good Lord gave us this world, not to be controlled by others, but by each other. We need to be faithful and to care for one another. I mean, if we don't take care of each other, they're going to take over. Let's get our world back. Let's protect our people. I mean, Junior was my life. I was a single parent, and he meant the world to me. But I no longer have him, so I have to fight for my grieving families and our vaccine injured. I know thousands and thousands of vaccine injured around the world. And so this is my job now. I'm going to continue fighting for our people. I will not give up. I will lay my life down for our people. So we need to stand together, and we need to get our world back. We need to fight for freedom. No one controls our destiny but us, each other. And as a group, we can do it. We can beat these animals, these evil demons that are in charge. They think they're in charge, they're not. We have full control. So I want to say, again, thank you. Keep the faith, get closer to God, tell your children you love them every day, please. Don't regret not saying that to your kids.
Hallo, ich habe die Ehre, Katharina König anzukündigen. Ich mache das jetzt auf Deutsch, weil sie ist Deutschlands bekannteste Impfgeschädigte. Sie ist eigentlich mehrmals gestorben und wieder zum Leben erweckt worden mit Elektroschocks. Und sie hilft sich jetzt selbst. Sie hat sehr viel Kenntnis in Medizin und jetzt hat sie das Wort. Okay, Katharina.
Katharina! Hello, Switzerland! I have worked for millions. Biotech Pfizer made my body. I can so not. They cover up the serious health conceals suffered by people like me. Jews and doctors, they're all liar. The Robert Koch Institute, the Paul-Ehrlich Institute, claiming it works and has no side effects. Yes, I am. I had to fear for my life for 4 years. Zero medical cave, no treatment, doctors insulted me. Fuck off doctors in Deutschland and Germany. Fuck you, Klaus Schwab. And fuck you, WHO. Fuck you, WEF. All doctors and health insurance company have lied to me to this day. Without medication, I will be dead in 6 to 8 weeks. Also fuck you, BioNTech, Pfizer. I couldn't eat for 2 years. Result, I suffered a stroke and multi-organ failure. 10 operations and 12 months. Because doctor didn't help me, I had myself. I'm going on hospital, out at my home and reading a book, another book, und I help myself. Und deshalb, fuck you all doctors in the ganzen world. Thank you for everyone. Und all together we're fighting for WHO und for doctors and for help. Bye.
Thank you so much, Katharina König. For the German-speaking people, she has a Telegram channel and you can find her on social media. Please support her work that she's doing, and she's speaking out for other vaccine injured. And we know there are many.
Thank you so much to Maria and Katharina. So our next speaker will be familiar to very many. Steve Kirsch is a former high-tech executive who quit his job to become a full-time journalist and reporter, and he's now written over 1,500 articles on the vaccines, the scientific mechanisms and the harms. So please welcome Steve Kirsch to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
That lost my speech. Let me see. Okay. So let me start off with the most important thing. I've been looking at this data for 2 years, and there is no benefit whatsoever from these COVID vaccines. In fact, they killed more people than they saved. And that data is actually out there. It's in the public domain. But you know, there's not a single mainstream scientist that has analyzed that data, except for me. And when you analyze the data, it shows that the infection fatality rate, or the case fatality rate, actually increased after they rolled out the vaccines to the US nursing homes. There is absolutely no way they can explain that data, so they avoid it like the plague. But the bottom line is that the vaccines actually killed more people than the virus did. The cure was actually more dangerous than the disease. It's incredible. And you know, I have an offer out to anyone in the world for $1 million. I bet $1 million that the vaccines have killed more people than they've saved. And there's nobody in the world that's taken me up on that bet that I issued about 2 years ago. Not a single person. There's only one guy, and he was only willing to bet me $500,000 that he was right. One guy in the world has confidence in our health authorities. That really is confidence building, isn't it? You know, I look forward to a day when we can resolve our differences in public dialogue instead of resorting to censorship and intimidation. I look forward to the day when we have transparency of public health information, because public health outcomes are never improved when we hide the public health data from the public. There is no paper that's been published saying hiding the data will improve public health outcomes. So why do we do it? We need to let doctors be doctors. Your medical treatment shouldn't be dictated from the WHO or from the CDC or from the NIH or from anyone else. They should be between you and your doctor based on your individual circumstances and the opinion of the doctors. We flipped that on its head in this pandemic, and we paid dearly for it, in that these vaccines have killed more people than the virus did. I look forward to a day when public health officials can be challenged. Wouldn't that be great if you could actually question them and have them answer questions? I'm still looking forward to that day. You know, and I'm looking forward to a day when a vaccine that has killed more than 10 million people worldwide is actually taken off the market. Wouldn't that be great? I look forward to the day when people finally realize that scientific journals are wrong 90% of the time. You know, these scientific journals, like 10 out of 11 studies show that vaccines do not cause these side effects that the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine used to make a determination that it doesn't cause Guillain-Barré, it doesn't cause Bell's palsy, and a whole bunch of other conditions. And they say that definitively because 10 out of 11 scientific studies are completely wrong. I look forward to the day when critical thinking skills will be required in order to be a public health official. And I want to thank you all for being here today and supporting this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Several of our speakers today have spoken about matters that are of deep importance. People have been harmed by medical interventions, people have lost loved ones, so we're going to have a moment's silence in a minute, but I'm just going to pass you to Maria to say why this is so important during this time.
So it is so important to think about all those people that took the so-called vaccine out of solidarity, and now the government, organizations, none of them feels responsible for those who got injured, or especially for those who lost beloved ones. Among them, also parents of little children who died because they took those shots. And we want to do this minute of silence now, but also we want to think of we want to commemorate two wonderful human beings who were in this fight with us together, and they already passed away. Talking about Luc Montagnier, and my and Ryan Cole's personal friend, Professor Arne Burkhardt. So we start.
Please join me. Place your hand on your heart if you feel called, and we'll take a minute to spare our thoughts and our prayers and our love to those who have been harmed and those who have lost loved ones. Please respect a minute of silence, and please can our friends at the back of the stage please be silent for 1 minute alongside us. Thank you so much.
Our next speakers. I'm glad I'm able to introduce my friend. She came all the way from California. She's the president of a great organization who is called PERK, P-E-R-K, and she's a real mama bear. She became a friend over the years. Welcome, Amy Bond.
Hello, everybody. Yes, we came all the way from California. It's such a free state there. No. I just have to tell you, this is incredible to see thousands of you here standing for freedom and from sovereignty from all over the world. It's inspiring. And I have to say, the WHO, they don't realize how strong the people are, because they think they have some kind of authority, but I'll tell you what, it's a pseudo-authority, because you, the people, we know we are free, and we are not giving our freedom away to anyone. Not only that, but we will not cower or be cowards in this moment, because we were born ready for today. We're born ready to speak our truth. We're born ready to stare tyranny in the face and challenge it. We're born ready to be that light and to be that truth in this world, in this time of darkness. We're the ones born ready to be resilient. We're born ready to use every one of our gifts and our talents and who we are to be in this moment, stand in this day, and be the resilient people that we are, and resist anything that stands in the way between us and our God-given freedom. We are the change we seek. We can't rely on someone else to do the work that only you and I can do. You and I are born in this moment, in this day, and I'm telling you, we're born ready to be those fighters, to be the warriors we are, and to be the ones who protect all of our countries across the entire world. And the reason why we're going to protect our freedom and our sovereignty is because in our hearts, we know that love is what wins. Love for our country, love for our children, love for our families, love for our freedom. And there isn't anything that can stop that. And in fact, as we declare our independence today, it is a symbol of all of the freedom that's in our heart across the entire world. And the geography, it doesn't separate us. We are one people of every race, every religion, every nationality, and we're united in this particular moment because I'm going to tell you this, we're going to win, and we're winning right now. The last thing I'll say to you is this. We have momentum right now. We are winning in every state and every country, and it's because we, the people, know we are free and we are strong and we're born ready for this moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amy. Wonderful. So our next speaker is a colleague of mine. I'm also a medical doctor, and this is my colleague, Dr. Alejandro Diaz, coming from Mexico. So, he could be the president of Mexico if I see him like this. I mean, this man got style, wow. So, he's a pediatrician, so he takes care of children. I love it so much when especially the pediatricians stand up, because I was missing them to stand up over the last years. Thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi, Geneva. Bonsoir. It's fantastic to be here. I'm very honored to be here in this historical moment. And I would like to share this very quick speech for you. Today, we gather here in the Mecca of global bureaucracy to defend medical freedom and national sovereignty. The world's leading health authority, the WHO, sponsored the gross mismanagement of COVID-era health policy, which will have generational consequences. We must not allow them to make the same mistakes for future health contingencies. This treaty Next again. This treaty is not a symbol of global cooperation, as some would like us to believe. It is a manifesto of global authoritarianism. We recognize that this treaty represents a trample on our civil liberties and a complete disregard of fundamental human rights. This international organization, which once was regarded as an authority on the issues, now serves only to impose regulations and violate the sovereignty of national governments. They intended to use the pandemic as a pretext to impose authoritarian and erroneous policies on the global population. They promoted and enforced the anti-human effort of mass vaccination, and now want to subject the entire world to this unitary and uniform agenda of evil. Gracias. We must not bow down to an institution led by individuals with no regard for human autonomy. Medical freedom is not only a concept, medical freedom is a human right. International institutions must not infringe on these fundamental principles. We must transform health policies to embrace the vision of true health care, to replace the sick care system that is in place today. I implore governments and heads of states to heed to our calling, to listen to our voices, and recognize that sovereignty as nations, as individuals, and as patients is not negotiable. Thank you so much. Merci bien. Au revoir.
Maria Pia Ambrosetti.
grazie cari amici, amici della gioia, della pace e dell'amore, della giustizia, della verità e della benevolenza e anche della resistenza. Grazie per essere venuti qui così numerosi a questo grande evento che oggi converge tutti noi nella città cosmopolita per eccellenza, la città delle organizzazioni internazionali, per dimostrare al mondo intero che una nuova umanità si è finalmente risvegliata dal torpore della società dello spettacolo che il filosofo e scrittore e cineasta francese Guy Debord aveva descritto minuziosamente nel lontano 1967. Una società che negli ultimi anni ci ha trattati da reietti, ci ha denigrati, ostracizzati e insultati nel vano tentativo di sottometterci e separarci, divide et impera. Ma il bello è che siamo ancora qui, insieme, più forti e uniti che mai. E questo grazie a una pandemia che ha avuto il merito di svelare il vero volto del sistema. Noi non siamo eroi, siamo semplici esseri umani che siamo riusciti a bypassare l'onda d'urto dell'indottrinamento sistematico che ha travolto soprattutto l'Occidente. Così abbiamo abbandonato la poltrona degli spettatori per salire sul palcoscenico come attori, per costruire una società vera, in cui la libertà e la giustizia la fanno da padrone, dove non possono esistere prigionieri politici come Julian Assange o Rainer Füllmich. Nella nuova umanità siamo attori creativi, responsabili e determinati e tendiamo la mano a chiunque voglia salire sul palcoscenico insieme a noi. Qua e là vediamo già apparire tante piccole cellule di comunità coraggiose, indipendenti e resistenti, anche nel nostro cantone Ticino, che in questo momento ci stanno guardando in live streaming e che saluto di cuore. Ciao amici, grazie, a presto!
Désormais, nous allons accueillir un chirurgien urologue italien. Il est président de la World Academy of Biomedical Science and Technology et de l'ONG des droits européens. Il a écrit le livre China Covid-19, la chimera, excusez mon italien, la chimera che ha cambiato il mondo. Bienvenue, Dr. Tritto.
Merci à tout le monde, vous êtes merveilleux, fantastique. Ça, c'est le message de l'humanité, des humains contre les personnes qui veulent transformer l'humanité et la planète. Nous sommes dans un tournant important de l'humanité. Si nous disons non à cette transformation de l'OMS, nous serons capables de gérer notre futur. Pour quelle raison? Parce qu'ils veulent transformer notre génome. C'est le premier acte qu'ils veulent faire. Approuver tous ces produits qui vont manipuler le génome humain et donc nous serons différents. Et les industries pharmaceutiques qui produisent ces produits, ils seront les patrons de notre génome. Nous devons comprendre que le génome de chacun de nous est unique. C'est-à-dire, c'est la force de l'humanité. Chacun de nous est un don de Dieu, si les personnes croient en quelque chose, mais c'est le don de la vie. So, for this reason, now I change my language. For this reason, we started with our academy to denounce at the International Criminal Court in The Hague people who have created SARS-CoV-2. We have put the name of these people, including also the director, the actual director of WHO, Tedros, who has two incriminations at the International Court for crime against humanity. Whoever denounced 9 people, I want to tell you, we will catch them. We will catch them. Because they want to change our immunity, natural immunity system, to reduce our natural defense that we are creating millions of years with our coexistence in this living planet. This is the choice of our freedom, our choice, and our open health against one health. Thank you to all. Thank you to you.
I want to thank you. I want to publicly recognize your personal power and your personal bravery. I recognize your morality, your ethics, and your dedication to justice. I love who you are, and I love what you stand for. Without you, there would be no light. Because of you, there is immense hope for all of humanity. I also know you've seen some hard times. In the last 4 years, the evil on this planet has shown its teeth. Many of you know people who've been injured and who've lost their lives due to the web of lies, deceptions, and propaganda. Humanity has been given a wake-up call, and you have answered that call. I wanted to thank you for doing what's right instead of doing what's easy. I wanted to thank you for placing morality above money. The group we're dealing with has key weaknesses, which in the end is our collective strength. This group has a 1-2 punch, which they've used against humanity for all of recorded history and beyond. That 1-2 punch is mind control and poison. Without these two modalities of control, they have no power. So this is where we strike. If you go to my website, jchristoff.com, I've personally produced 2 videos for everyone here, which explains how this mind control and poison-based slavery system is used against you and your family every single day. If you know how the magician does his tricks, the magic show fails to impress. This group isn't just after you, they're after your children. You're just in the way. Please remember, you are not alone. We are with you. We personally invite you to join us in building a new renaissance of morality, ethics, justice, child protection, and heaven on earth. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here. We stand in front of the global headquarters of one of the most evil organizations ever to curse this planet, and I'm here to condemn it. We may as well be making this event in Red Square in 1934, or before the Chancellery of Berlin in 1944, or in Tiananmen Square in 1954, because the ambition of Geneva in 2024 is the same. Their ambition is to control the world with a global tyranny and a global religion called sustainability and inclusion. This vision was first articulated by a former Assistant Secretary General of this organization named Robert Mueller, who laid out a vision leading up to the Millennium Assembly 25 years ago, not just for a global tyranny, but for the United Nations to seize control of the entire evolution of man and the evolution of Earth. That cannot be. He put forth this vision believing that the world is a meta-organism. The nations of the world, the ecosystems of the world are like organs of a single body. The people, the plants, the animals are like its cells. And for them, the United Nations will be its central nervous system, its brain, the center of its soul. Obviously, we will have to sacrifice our sovereignties, national and individual, to achieve this vision, this evil, demonic vision, and we must say no. The Sustainable Development Goals show that this has crystallized and was taken seriously, and we come to Geneva to say no, we will not go with you. We will not allow this. Absolutely not. Our sovereignty is sacred. We cannot give it and you cannot take it from us. But to the United Nations, I give a warning. That is not a building of glass and steel and concrete. That is Babel. And God shall not be mocked. Their judgment is coming. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Robert Malone.
It's always a hard act to follow James Lindsay, so please forgive me if I don't meet the status. I'd like to speak to you of the Battle of Evermore. We're here in Geneva, the international capital of globalism. We all sense an impending battle. But do we know who is friend and who is foe? Do we understand our allies as well as our opponents? Simple stereotypes will not lead us to victory. Both sides think they represent the future. Both sides think that they're battling evil to save the world. All involved passionately believe they fight for the common good. On one side, with a sense of noblesse oblige, a transnational elite works to advance a unified, globalized, centralized political and economic world order. A world order based on a command economy rooted in massive databases, predictive artificial intelligence-driven decision-making, and the merging of man and machine to create a new species. Fulfilling this objective is believed to require universal surveillance, propaganda powered by modern psychology, algorithmic censorship, cultural homogenization, and centralized automated economic controls and resource allocation. I believe this will be a digital, technocratic, and bureaucratic hell. I believe that Yeats' rough beast, its hour come round at last, now slouches towards Geneva to be born. And I believe in humanity, and I believe in the divine. Our side believes in the pragmatic benefits of the principle of subsidiarity, which is written into the charter of the European Union. That being decision-making at the most local, competent, politically representative structure. Decentralization. We believe in decentralization, nationalism, unique cultural identities, individual and national sovereignty, and the power of human innovation. Centralized planning and control destroys the ability of individuals, cultures, and nations to innovate. Globalized, centralized planning and control will kill the motivation and ability of the human race to adapt to changing conditions. After the Soviet Union and so many others, do we really need another example before we can learn this lesson? Or does each era need to recycle history? Elevating a new globalized, centralized nobility will not lead to prosperity, innovation, and effective adaptation. It will destroy these things. We've seen the failure of this model over the last few years in the COVID crisis. How many more examples do we need? I believe in the power of diversified, independent thought, cultural heritage, and freedom. In this battle, I do not know which vision will prevail. What I do know is that old imperialistic models are outdated, and old empires and old ways of geopolitical thought face imminent collapse, but they will not go quietly into the night. And what I am absolutely sure of is that censorship will not save this version of imperialism currently hiding behind the weaponized propaganda term democracy. And that the weaponization of fear of infectious disease to control human behavior is ethically evil. And that those who deploy these unethical practices to advance their objectives of political power, profit, and control should be shamed and condemned. The use of psychological bioterrorism is wrong and it must stop. For the sake of our children, we must oppose both transhumanism and weaponized fear. And we must insist on freedom, damn it.
And here with us on stage is wonderful Dr. Jill Malone. Please say some words to the crowd, Jill.
Thank you very much. Bonjour mes amis, je suis Jennifer Hibbert du Canada. I am calling out to people of all countries. Each one of us came into this world with inalienable rights that no one can take from us. We have the power to create the world that we want to live in. This change we are all learning and now know it starts in our own home. And then we create small communities around us and we share that information because this is key and this is what we're doing here today. We're coming together, sharing information, and we'll take this all back home. I do want to tell you, we want to learn also, most importantly, how to source fresh food, fresh water, and fresh air. And this is what we're working out together. I'm a strategist like everybody that's here and meeting here in Geneva, and so are every one of you. We're trying to figure it out, and we will find our way. We say no to the WHO's intended power grab. Say no to their fear tactics in the name of health. Now is our opportunity to create and co-create the positive changes we want to see in this world. This is an incredible time to be alive. Make no mistake about that. Each and every one of us have chosen to be here at this time in history. This is a beautiful time to be here, and everything is worthwhile. We do have to work together, and thank you so much for having me here today.
Brett, you have to help me how to pronounce your name. Brett Haas. Haas. Brett's name's written H-A-W-E-S, and you should check out more about this wonderful human being. And I got to know him yesterday personally at the Inspire Summit. What a great guy. Thank you so much for being here as well.
Thank you. And it's so good to see all of you here because some of us have been doing this work for so long and it was quiet. So I want you to give yourself a huge round of applause for being here because we can't do this without you. You know, we have some serious problems going on in the world. We know the corruption, the capitalization, the swaying of science. But we have an even bigger problem here which no one is talking about, and that is the foundational principles of healthcare and medicine. The medical system is a predatory system that capitalizes and profits from our sickness. And what they're trying to do is corral us into a system where that is going to become amplified. This is a system that does not work for the people. It is designed to work for the system so that they can make more money from our sickness. So as the old system crumbles, you are all here bringing down the old system. That's why you're here. And we need something new in its place. So what I envision is a system that is based on healthcare, with your health and wellness and vitality in mind. And if we put prevention, proactiveness, a cooperative effort into healthcare, we will have a healthy, vital, strong population that requires less attention and care from drugs,
pharmaceuticals, the medical system, and surgery. And that is exactly how we bring down the system. There's two ways to fight fire. You fight fire with fire, or you choke it out and starve it with oxygen. So I thank you all for being here today once again. Have a blessed day.
And of course, you know our next speaker. She spoke up very, very early. Welcome, Professor Dr. Dolores Cahill from Ireland.
Hey, hello everyone, hello Geneva. Woo! I have to be quick, thank you for being here. Do you want to know in 1 minute how you can be sovereign and free? Yeah. Give a shout out. So as president of the World Freedom Alliance in 2020, I showed you that you can set up an airline and travel all over the world and they can't stop you. Did you remember that? I never wore a mask and I could travel everywhere. And the solution is, first of all, you are free. No one gives you those rights. You have them. And the solution is you need to know the difference between your lawful rights and the broken legal system. The legal system has millions of people that have died on a clinical trial without being stopped. In the law, the regulators and coroners are accountable. And what we've been doing strategically is holding individual people to account. And we stopped the checkpoints in Ireland. We stopped the quarantine hotels. And with the World PCR Sequencing Consortium in the United States, we stopped the requirement for PCR testing by just saying to the head of the FDA and the CDC, as individual men and women, you are accountable, and I and our group will hold you accountable. So we are looking now for precedence examples of families who have loved ones that have died from the vaccine or midazolam, and I, for free, anywhere in the world, will form a precedence case with you, and we have never lost. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And just to give the information for the websites, it's custodianinstitutemembers.com, custodianinstitutemembers.com, and also worldfreedomalliance.org and Dolores Cahill Telegram. And I will take on any Attorney General, any government, Fauci, the World Health Organization, and challenge them, and we will win. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dolores. Thank you. Et maintenant, j'aimerais vous présenter encore un Suisse, le président d'un mouvement citoyen suisse alémanique qui combat pour la souveraineté de la Suisse. Entre nous, on l'appelle Der Mann mit den langen Haaren und der Zigarre. Ah, je crois que tout le monde l'a reconnu. C'est le président de Massvoll, Nicolas Riboldi.
Merci, Michel. Merci. Hello, freedom fighters from all over the world. Welcome to Switzerland. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for fighting against the dying of the light, because we do not go gentle into that good night. We fight for freedom, for the sake of humanity. Because we all know, stopping the pandemic treaty and all these treaties who are robbing our sovereignty, our fundamental rights, is not enough. Leaving all these globalist organizations is not enough. We have to destroy them once and for all. We are standing here at the turning of the tide. In these times, in these hours, We have to decide if we and our children will live a free life or they're going to be slaves of the globalist system. But I know from deepest of my heart that we will win and the globalist agenda will fail. The Swiss movement Maßvoll was the first organization worldwide who stood up against the WHO pandemic treaty in February 22. And we're still standing, you all are still standing, and that is our greatest success. And I thank you for fighting all these years to come, that we live in a free world, and I believe in all of you, and I say thank you to all of you to fight together for a world worth living. Thank you so much. Freedom, liberté! 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 Thank you!
Okay, so our next speaker told me that he's here to fight the man because the man won't fight himself. Brett Weinstein is an evolutionary biologist, co-author of the best-selling book, A Hunter-Gatherer's Guide to the 21st Century, co-host of the Dark Horse podcast and fellow at the Brownstone Institute. Please give a warm welcome to Brett Weinstein.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the world, we are under attack. The principles of national sovereignty, personal liberty, and the consent of the governed have been slated for destruction by a tiny global elite that desperately wants to rule us. They aim to dictate what we are allowed to do, to say, and to think, to control where and when we may travel, what drugs and injections we must take, what doubts we are allowed to harbor. They want the ability to shut down discussion and to close down the channels we use to challenge the veracity of their narratives and the legitimacy of their power. In short, they are angry that we successfully pulled back the curtain during the COVID era, and they are itching for a rematch. They are working overtime at the World Health Organization to rewrite all the rules so that next time they can win. That is the true meaning of these negotiations over what they falsely call pandemic preparedness. They are seeking an unprecedented level of control. They must fail, and they will. This international cabal finds our belief in liberty irritating, and it finds our insistence on informed consent laughable. So it has targeted our national sovereignty from above. Our nations are to be subordinated to an opaque international superorder with veto power over our rights and our liberties as citizens. We are to be controlled by a mechanism placed out of reach of any check or balance we might hope to employ. We are told that these authoritarian measures are being crafted to protect the public's health and to keep us safe from a pandemic that we are assured is always ready to leap from wild animals into people. It's not a matter of if, Tedros assures us, it's a matter of when. But nothing could be further from the truth. Nature is full of unknown viruses. That much is not a lie. But the ability of novel pathogens to jump the evolutionary gap and suddenly trigger a global human pandemic is very small. Or at least it would be small, if not for the massive network of laboratories currently working to weaponize natural pathogens using gain-of-function technologies. These labs are part of an undeclared Cold War of which the citizens of the world are barely aware. The damage done to the world over the last 4 years should make the danger of enhancing human pathogens obvious. The fact that our leaders refuse to discuss the weapons research that produced the COVID catastrophe is powerful evidence of how cynical those leaders have become. If the international community was serious about protecting people from infectious disease, instead of planning to lock down, censor, and inoculate the world, it would focus on two things. First, it would focus on basic measures to increase innate resistance to disease, like improving food quality and reducing vitamin D deficiency. Second, it would focus on shutting down the labs that weaponize pathogens and place us all in jeopardy of laboratory leaks. When we began to spread the word about the WHO's obscene power grab, the Director General released a statement. He said the unprecedented concentration of power under consideration at the WHO was not a breach of the sovereignty of our nations. He called that misinformation. Because, he argued, our democratic governance would be working on our behalf to hand veto power over our rights and liberties to the Director General. The absurdity of this is obvious. Our governments are captured by the same private interests that finance the WHO. Our only remaining influence over this well-sealed system of profiteers is to deliver our response in the streets, which is why, Mr. Director, I have traveled thousands of miles to give you your answer. We, the informed citizens of the world, do not consent, and we will not comply.
Welcome, you two strong women on stage. Thank you.
Thank you, and hello, Geneva. It's great to be with you, world. It's great to be with you here in the Lion's Den, in the heart of globalism. But we have a message to encourage, inspire, and educate you, hopefully to activate you to all be the solutions in your own communities, because local politics is really where politics happens. If you can take back things in your local communities and your nations, we can save the world.
Hello, bonjour! Many of you in this crowd today may know me as the United States Air Force geoengineering whistleblower. But today I am here to educate the world and promote unity. As discussed in our introduction, we are the critical responders during a pandemic. Unfortunately, our professions were sidelined, leading to a harmful promotion of ineffective control measures. So what is a control measure? We follow something called the hierarchy of safety and controls. And over the past 4 years, engineering controls were the corrective action needed. And as soon as it was known that COVID was aerosolized. For example, increasing your air exchanges lifts this hazard out of the breathing zone because COVID-19 is primarily spread through the inhalation of aerosols into the deep lung. Masks, N95s, and KN95s, they were not utilized properly and did little, if anything, to reduce the risk of this exposure. Plexiglass barriers and dots promoting 6-foot social distancing defy the science and common sense, given that we understand the behavior of aerosols, which in stagnant air can stay suspended for days and weeks. And as somebody who has managed the respiratory protection programs of almost 80,000 employees, I know that masks provide a less than 1% risk reduction against COVID-19 aerosols. And guess what? They also create a greater barrier for you and the people around you. Proper personal protective equipment would have been something called controlled air and powered air purifying respirators going over your face like this, which they protect both the lungs and the eyes. That ocular hazard was neglected by the promotion of masks. Healthcare professionals are required to utilize these tools for maximum protection. It's our law in the United States and in many of your countries. It's not just crucial, it is imperative that our governments, irrespective of any political parties or affiliations, listen to the experts in our field. Our governments listen to the experts with zero credentials. This is a strong reminder that we have to prioritize listening to the real experts. Especially those of us who stand up and never profited. So Tammy, why did the government abandon in lockstep all of the known science that we have utilized for decades to successfully handle all public health emergencies?
Well, that's a great question, Kristen, and it's something that I wondered about myself, especially because we saw all governments of the world in lockstep abandon known, proven science that has dictated pandemic control measures for decades in favor of control measures that made no sense, were not based on science, and actually increased the spread. Those of us in our profession of industrial hygiene and occupational hygiene have utilized these known, proven control measures very successfully during public health emergencies and disease outbreaks for decades. In fact, we must do so by law. So when we saw all governments of the world in lockstep abandon the science and the scientists and the experts who manage pandemics, we knew something was very wrong. This is why Kristen and I stood up and blew the whistle on the very inappropriate and irresponsible control measures that they were mandating on the entire world. We knew they didn't work because they have trained us. There is nobody better to blow the whistle on the government than government-trained experts. So why are we here today? To expose this for what it is, an attempted global coup, led by the World Health Organization to control all of humanity. They are using fear and terms like health and safety to push a very false narrative in a coordinated global manner in an attempt to control every human being on the planet. This is not about your health and safety. If it was, we would be the very first ones telling you it is and to follow the recommendations because we are health and safety professionals. This is about control. Utilizing the terms health and safety because that's how they get you to comply out of fear.
And remember, your silence is viewed as consent, but together and collectively, we outnumber these sociopaths.
Okay, coming into the final line now, we're going to be marching the streets of Geneva very soon. So, I'd like to introduce Helen Tyndall and Adam McLaughlin. Helen spent 2 decades working on infectious disease control programs in Australia and all across Southeast Asia. She now works in the media team at New Zealand Doctors Speaking Out with Science. And we've got Anna McLaughlin, a seasoned communications consultant, almost 20 years in New Zealand and internationally. Anna is passionate about speaking up when injustice reigns and refusing to bow to tyranny, like many of us here today. So please welcome our latest speakers to the stage. Thank you very much.
Hello. Kia ora, hello from New Zealand. How are you all? We're going to be sharing a mic by the looks of it. My name is Anna McLaughlin and this is
Helen Tyndall. So in remote Australia, I have observed the dire consequences of colonialism on Indigenous communities dominated by powerful systems. In Southeast Asia, I watched an abyss of misery as health professionals work inside systems built to exploit people who exist in cycles of abject destitution, intense stress, and ill health. Whilst 95% of humanity already lives in servile poverty, the COVID era revealed that global leaders plan to end the privileges arising from fair and democratic systems, which most of us from Western nations have enjoyed. Their sabotage is destined to fail.
WHO!
hat euch Spaß gemacht und lasst ein Abo da, wenn es euch gefallen hat. Wir sehen uns wieder im nächsten Video und verbreitet die Parole We say no WHO, we say no WHO ist die definitive Parole vom heutigen Tag hier in Genf. Also wir sehen uns in einem anderen Video. Bis bald, lasst einen Daumen hoch und bis bald.